Jungkook's tears that shook the world, but what did Jin do that changed everything? It was supposed to be a moment of celebration, the closing night of a monumental concert, a culmination of years of triumph, resilience, and unity. Yet what unfolded before millions of eyes was something no one could have predicted. Jungkook, the youngest and often the strongest, breaking down in uncontrollable tears under the blinding lights. His voice trembled, his body shook, and his composure, so famously unshakable, crumbled in an instant. But the real shock came not from Jungkook's tears alone. It came from Jin, silent, still, yet somehow in that silence, changing everything. What did Jin know in that moment that the world did not? Why did his reaction, a single motionless stare, a quiet step forward, send ripples through an entire fandom? As the footage spread like wildfire across social media platforms, the world watched and rewatched every frame. Was it exhaustion? Was it emotional collapse? Or was it something deeper, something BTS has never revealed? The scene, raw and unfiltered, was not just another tearful idol moment. It was different. It felt real, too real. Observers pointed out that Jin's face changed the very second Jungkook's voice broke. His usual calm expression stiffened. He didn't rush in to console him, as fans might expect from the group's eldest member. Instead, he stood there frozen yet knowing, before finally walking up and placing a steady hand on Jungkook's shoulder. No words, no gestures for the cameras. Just that one silent, heavy acknowledgement, and then came the questions, hundreds, thousands of them. What truth lay behind that touch? What pain was shared between them that words couldn't express? Was Jin aware of something the audience wasn't? Fans speculated endlessly. Some believed Jungkook's tears were the result of the immense pressure he has carried since debut, the weight of global fame, perfection, and expectation. Others suggested it was something more personal, the quiet ache of watching his brothers change, drift, and grow in separate directions as BTS members enter new life chapters. Jin's enlistment had already marked a major turning point for the group. Was this Jungkook's emotional breaking point, the moment he realized things would never be the same again? But if the moment was about grief, Jin's silence only deepened it. His restraint wasn't cold, it was deliberate. It was as though he knew that no words could fix what Jungkook was feeling. Perhaps he understood that in some moments, presence speaks louder than comfort. Yet the internet, ever hungry for answers, demanded clarity. Clips were slowed down, gestures dissected, glances analyzed. Theories flooded TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube. Some even suggested there might be hidden tension between the members. Others claimed that Jungkook had been dealing with private struggles long before the concert. The truth, however, remains clouded, an emotional mystery that refuses to settle. Could it be that this was not a breakdown, but a revelation? A moment of release after years of restraint? The world may never truly know, but what's undeniable is the impact. Jungkook's tears didn't just shake the stadium, they shook millions of hearts. Fans who had always seen him as the embodiment of strength suddenly saw him as human, fragile, overwhelmed, and real. And perhaps that is what made Jin's reaction so powerful. In a culture that prizes perfection, he allowed imperfection to exist, without rushing to erase it. Still, one can't help but wonder, was Jin's reaction merely brotherly empathy, or was there something heavier beneath that calm exterior? Did he see this coming? Was this a private storm finally breaking in public? The emotional aftermath has not faded. Even weeks after the performance, ARMYs continue to debate what truly happened that night. Some say it marked a turning point for the group, a silent signal that things are changing. Others believe it was simply a human moment, unplanned and unfiltered. But amid all the interpretations, one truth persists. The authenticity of emotion cannot be faked. And yet, another question lingers. Can we ever really know what's real? In the age of social media, where every tear can be replayed and every silence reinterpreted, how do we separate genuine emotion from performative display? Could it be that this powerful scene, this unforgettable exchange between Jin and Jungkook, was amplified by the very hunger for drama that fuels modern fandom culture? We must ask ourselves, are we witnessing truth? Or are we consuming an illusion carefully shaped by the lens of attention? The emotional chaos that night was undeniably real to those who felt it. But as viewers, it's our responsibility to question what we see, to think critically about every viral moment. Did Jungkook's tears symbolize exhaustion, rebirth, or something orchestrated? Did Jin's reaction reveal empathy, control, or quiet sorrow? Ultimately, the line between authenticity and performance grows thinner every day. And perhaps that is the real tragedy of modern fame. Even the purest emotions become subjects of analysis. Still, one cannot deny the power of what happened that night. Jungkook's tears transcended language, culture, and distance. Jin's silent response became a symbol of understanding without words. Together, they created a moment that will forever be etched in the emotional history of BTS, a moment that asks more questions than it answers. So now, dear readers, we turn to you. Do you believe what you saw was real? Or was it, like so many things in the entertainment world, a perfectly timed emotional spectacle meant to capture hearts and headlines alike? Think carefully. Reflect deeply. Because in a world where emotion and performance often collide, only one truth remains certain sometimes. The tears that shake the world reveal not weakness, but the unbearable weight of being human. The image of Jungkook crying on stage continues to echo across social media feeds, YouTube thumbnails, and endless TikTok edits. It has become more than a moment. It's now a mystery, a question without a clear answer. But should we, as the audience, take everything we see at face value? Or is there something deeper to be unpacked about how emotion, fame, and perception collide in today's digital world? Let's pause for a moment. Ask yourself, do you truly believe that Jungkook's tears were entirely spontaneous? Or is there even the slightest possibility that what we witnessed was an orchestrated moment, a carefully managed image designed to remind fans of BTS's humanity? The thought alone might sound cynical, even uncomfortable. Yet isn't that the essence of critical reflection? To question even the things that move us most deeply. Emotions can be real, but so can strategy. In the world of entertainment, both often coexist in a delicate dance. Jungkook's breakdown appeared raw and unfiltered, and perhaps it truly was. But as media consumers, we must acknowledge that the line between reality and representation is thinner than ever. How can we be sure what we saw was the unedited truth and not a curated narrative built to strengthen emotional engagement? And then there's Jin, his calm, unreadable reaction. Was it genuine empathy, quiet leadership, or calculated composure in front of thousands of cameras? Could his silence have been a spontaneous response? Or was it the trained instinct of a performer who knows that stillness speaks louder than words? These are not accusations, but necessary questions. Because when emotion becomes global content, sincerity and perception inevitably intertwine. In an age where every blink, tear, and sigh can be turned into viral media.